So I've been trying to reduce the sponginess in my hydraulic disc brakes over the past year. Made sure that my brake fluid was topped off. There's another great video how to do that. Also tried to get all the air bubbles out while topping off the brake fluid, but it didn't seem to help. The only things that helped were, one, using thread locker on this little Allen bolt, which I have another video on. The second was actually the wheel alignment. Something that I finally discovered was that whenever I took the wheel off and put it back on, I would make sure it wasn't rubbing, and I figured that was enough. It's not rubbing, it must be mounted correctly. But the issue is, every time you take your wheel off or put it back on, or at least with mine, I have these Allen bolts that tighten the wheel back on. It's not a quick release. It actually depends. The order that you tighten these Allen bolts up can slightly pull your wheel to the right or to the left, which would also pull your brake rotor to the right or to the left, which obviously would affect the alignment of your disc brakes. The rotor wouldn't be correctly centered right between the brake pads. So when you try and align your brakes by loosening these mounting brackets on the brake caliper, and then squeezing the lever and then retightening the mounting brackets, it might not correctly align if your wheel is too far to the left or too far to the right, because these mounting brackets only have a range that they can adapt to. If your wheel is outside the range, the rotor is going to be outside the range, and when you try and align your brake pads and tighten back up the mounting brackets, it's going to not be correctly centered. So if you're looking at that and seeing that, you need to make sure that your wheel is actually in an acceptable place. If it's too far to the left or too far to the right, you won't be able to align your brake pads correctly. The solution would be to loosen these Allen bolts again and maybe tighten the one that you want to pull it closer to. If it's too far to the left, tighten the one to the right first, so that it pulls your wheel slightly to the right, and you can actually look at the brake pads to see where the rotor is, if it's too far to the left or too far to the right. Once your wheel is in an acceptable range, then alignment should work correctly for your brake pads. Hopefully this helps.